breathe heavily. You put your helmet on, your hands are shaking, and your knees, your whole body is shaking. No matter how much time you've spent preparing, both physically and mentally, you will never be prepared enough for this moment. The engine is revving just behind your back. From now on, this is your most addictive drug, and your life will never be the same again. You are now a racing driver. Your time has come. Show them what you're made of. Every year, there are less people getting a chance to do a professional racing career than climb Mount Everest. Just so you understand how unique the chance to be a racing driver is. And in all fairness, I didn't really want to do this video in order not to get emotional. But I think it's my duty to show you what it is to be a racing driver, what it actually means, and what sort of lifestyle will you have to have in order to be successful. First, let's start with why not a lot of people can become professional racing drivers, and especially in single seaters. And the main answer is money. It is extremely expensive, and not a lot of families have enough to sustain their child's racing career. Even if you want to do karting, which you have to do for a few years to be fast, it will be roughly around $50,000 a year to be competitive in karting. Then there is gear. Even in karting, if you want to buy full gear, which is helmet, boots, gloves, and everything else you need to race, it's going to be around $2,000 at least if you buy entry-level stuff. Then you have to travel. You have to stay in hotels. You have to buy tires. You have to pay for fuel. You have to pay for insurance. And that's all extra to the cost of running a team, or even if you are a privateer. So even on this level of karting, we already cut out, I'd say, 95% of people who want to be racing drivers. Then you have entry-level open wheels, which will be GB4, Formula 4, and various national series. And that's I mean, to be successful there, you need to have at least 20-25 test days. Not private test days, just open test days. Each test day is at least $5,000. So that's just to test before your first round. It's gonna be more than $100,000. Then the cost of running one car in a championship, like full season, for example, in GB4, is roughly around $500,000 for 1 year. And if you're not successful from the first year, you have to go again. So just to be able to progress from entry-level open wheels to some sort of mid-level like Formula 3, at this point it's already over $1 million. So I think I don't need to tell you how many drivers, how many aspiring drivers are not even given a chance to step in a car. And how many Max Verstappens and Lewis Hamiltons are just walking around somewhere working in Starbucks. So what we are doing here with Scorpio eSport and with Next Gen is something so unique, and if we manage to pull it off, and I'm sure we will manage to pull it off, I mean, any driver who is able to progress with us and step into the real car is already within, I would say, 1/1000th of 1%. So, yeah, that's the main reason why a lot of drivers are not even given a chance. And if you think that sponsorship is something easy, and there are a lot of companies around who are just looking to invest in you, you are making a huge mistake. Because on entry level, and pretty much for most of the companies, everything apart from Formula 1 and maybe Formula 2 is considered entry level. They don't care about Formula 4, they don't care about GB4, they don't care about national championships, they don't even care about Formula 3. So most of the drivers in junior series and in junior categories that you see have stickers on cars, those stickers are just companies of their parents, friends, etc., who have nothing to do really with proper sponsorship. I would say 95% of the young drivers are funded by their own families. Then there are another 5% who are funded by friends' companies and various young driver programs like McLaren, Ferrari, etc., etc. But it is a very, very small chance to be in that program. Now I hope I have clarified how unique it is just to drive a car on track. Now, to be successful, you have to sacrifice a lot. And by a lot, I mean you have to sacrifice pretty much everything. You have to sacrifice your life, pretty much. And by meaning that, I'm trying to say that you have to train in a gym with a professional trainer for 6 days a week. When I was driving, my training schedule was roughly 2 hours of training every day for 6 days a week. Then you have to eat what you are told. You have to send photos of every meal to your personal trainer. You have to go to bed at a certain time, and you have to wake up at a certain time, regardless whether it's a day off or not, because you have to train your body for a certain regime, simply because it helps to get over the time lag, and you will be traveling a lot. Now, you have to sacrifice parties with friends. You have to forget what alcohol is. You have to forget what cigarettes are. You pretty much have no time, because normally you would study during that time. So all you have time to do is to prepare for exams, go to gym, and then it's time for bed. There will be no social life. There will be no sort of common teenage activities in your life, because everything you do during that period will be aimed at achieving your ultimate goal of getting into Formula One or endurance series or any top category that you like. But majority of drivers, of course, aim to be in Formula One simply because all the money are there, and it's the most common way to find a well-supported career, so to speak. Because in other series, there are less sponsors, and therefore there are less career opportunities. So by saying that, I mean that, for example, even if in GTs, there are not a lot of sponsors because those series are less attractive for the companies. A sponsor is a company that wants to get their logo out. They want to have the maximum return on investment, and that's important. So if there is a championship, and even if it's top category like World GT or whatever, I was trying to get into International GT Open, which was pretty much a European GT championship with like 40 odd cars, and I didn't manage to do that because nobody wanted to sponsor it. There are no works teams there, so there is no like Ferrari or McLaren team there. It's all private teams, and private teams need money to run the cars. They need money to travel, they need money to buy fuel, they need money to pay for the hotels of their mechanics. And the only source of that money is the driver. So basically, you somehow have to find a company that will want and that will see the value in putting their logo on your car for a huge amount of money, which is more expensive than any conventional ways of advertising. And generally, such companies are just companies that are run by motorsport enthusiasts. So if a company director or owner is a big fan of motorsport, they might support you. But generally, the return on investment for those companies is less than they want. So they will spend on you more than they would get a return, except Formula One. So that's why we can see that drivers in Formula One, they earn huge amounts of money because Formula One generates a lot of interest. Formula One is the most watched sporting event after Football Cup World Final and Olympics. So Formula One is the most watched regular motorsport event. Therefore, a lot of companies want to be represented there. And teams create driver academies in order to get good drivers rather than rich drivers. But as I said before, to get to that point when you are noticed by any Formula One team driver academy, you have to spend over $1 million already, which not a lot of drivers can do. Now, again, about the lifestyle, as I said, you pretty much forget about normal teenage life, and you just live and breathe with petrol and with petrol fumes. That's all. I don't think I tried any alcohol at all, like even beer. I hadn't tried beer since before I retired from racing. Like all my friends in college, they were just having parties and drinking and etc. And I didn't even think about it. Like my whole life was around the fact that I was just waiting for the next race weekend. I literally didn't care about anything else at all in my life. And that's why it was so difficult to retire, because after I had an accident and I understood that I couldn't proceed my career in open wheels, I didn't manage to find any sponsorship for GTs and touring cars for the reasons I already mentioned. And I was good enough to be in open wheels. I was a Force India development driver, but unfortunately it only lasted one weekend. Anyway, then there is another factor, which is called teamwork. In short, in any form of racing, There is not a single person that is bigger than the team. And that means you always work as a part of the team in all aspects. Nobody really care what you want to eat for lunch, how you feel today, if you have stomachache or you have headache, and you have to learn how to work with the team. And it sounds very simple, but as soon as you enter that realm of racing, and as soon as you start getting even minimal media attention, you have to be so careful with what you say, because media is a bitch. They love to dig dirty laundry, even in junior series, especially if you are connected with the big name, with any big company or Formula One team or junior program or whatever. You will be under fire all the time. And literally anything you say, as they say, can be used against you. And you have to work with the team manager, you have to work with team PR person all the time. You have to work with your engineer all the time, even between race weekends. If you want to achieve something, you are just constantly, all the time, you are chatting with your engineer, thinking how to improve stuff. You go to work on a simulator, and the team doesn't give a shit that you have exam tomorrow. You have to do your work. They might care, they might be considerate, but they want the result. If you don't provide the result for the team you race for, you mean nothing. And my coach always told me, you're only as good as your final race. No matter if you won a championship last year, no matter if you won a race 1 month ago. If you fucked up your last race, you mean nothing to anyone. The media will forget about you. They will pour shit on you. They will say such things that I have never even tried to say in SSF Insider, if you think that it was harsh. And it will affect you. It will affect you mentally. It will affect how your followers see you in your social networks. And you have to be so strong in your head not to cry, really. So the teamwork, as I said, is not simply listening to your driver coach or listening to your race engineer or providing proper feedback. That is just 1%. Anyone from outside of the team doesn't see the other 99%. Your team becomes your family in all senses, by all meanings. You chat with your team more than you chat with your family because you have to. Otherwise, you fall behind. If you miss 1 day of training, my coach always told me, while you're having a break, someone somewhere is practicing, and when you meet them head to head on track, they will beat you. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to be a proper racing driver, your mentality and everything you know in your life will change from upside down. And if you want to be a successful driver, you also have to be extremely strong mentally. And I don't have any words to describe how important it is. And no one will understand it until they actually get there. But I'm trying to show you that there is another life of a racing driver. There is another life which is different from what you see on TV during the race weekends, when they have some people carrying the umbrellas when the sun is shining. Trust me, the driver doesn't give a shit about the umbrella that they carry. It's just made for media. It's just to show that the team is big and rich and they can afford it. The driver only cares, or at least should care, about where they finished today. And as soon as you won a race, everything you care about is where you finish the next race in 2 weeks' time. If you care about anything else in your life during that time, you will lose. Now, the final thing I want to cover is something that I found to be important, at least for me, and it's hopes. It's your dreams. It's where you want to end up. And you want to win. And I couldn't. But all I want to do is to make you win. Touché.